Know the meaning of a word, you just look it up in the dictionary, right? Well, for a woman in Michigan, it wasn't quite that simple. Delphine Abraham, a computer technician, didn't like what she found when she looked up the definition of one particular word, and she decided to do something about it. When Delphine Abraham looked up the N word in the dictionary, she was stunned. The primary definition? A black person or a member of a dark-skinned race. It was emphasized that the word ranks as perhaps the most offensive and inflammatory racial slur in English, but that disclaimer wasn't enough for Abraham. She wanted Merriam-Webster to redefine these offensive words as slurs, not as people. So about a year ago, she launched a petition drive against Merriam-Webster and says she has collected more than 10,000 signatures. The national director of the Anti-Defamation League, Abraham Foxman, says Abraham is drawing attention to an issue that affects all Americans.
What it does is focus attention on these words, on their usage, on their offensiveness, and I think the debate is healthy.
This month, Merriam-Webster announced it will reformat or rearrange definitions for about 200 words in its 1999 collegiate dictionary. The definitions of these slurs will now begin with an indication that the words are usually offensive terms. But Hoover Institute fellow Shelby Steele says changing the dictionary won't change reality.
Somebody calls me a nigger on the street tomorrow, as may well happen, I'm not going to be able to say, well, you know, they've changed the definition of that in the dictionary. I don't think it's going to have much impact.
But this past week, the head of the NAACP, Kwesi Mfume, says changing the definition does matter. As Mfume says, the group will now review Merriam-Webster's hiring policies. Whatever happens, Abraham Foxman says it is important to remember that words do matter.
Words have the ability to maim, to scar, to kill. The gas chambers in Auschwitz during the Holocaust did not begin with bricks. They began with words, with ugly, hurtful, painful words.
And joining Aaron and myself is the woman who began this crusade, Delphine Abraham. Good morning, Delphine.
Good morning.
Let's begin with the obvious question, why you began this crusade against all racial slurs.
Over a year ago, after I saw the word printed in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, I was absolutely stunned. Got on the phone, I talked to Merriam-Webster, the president, the very next day. After talking to him, he showed no sensitivity towards this word, and I informed him that I was going to get a petition drive started. The first month received over 2,000 petitions actually trying to persuade him to redefine the word. It stated nigger then a black person or any member of a dark-skinned race. And I was asked, well, what definition would you actually like to see? I feel if they take away the noun from the word and actually list a derogatory term used to dehumanize a group or race of people, that's a bit more appropriate, and it takes the noun away from the word.
Let me speak for them for a second, because I think what they say, and I'm trying to understand this, is that you want a political definition, and they're in the business of kind of academically looking at how words are used, and that in these politically correct times you're asking for more than they ought to do. That it would be wrong for them to do it, to politicize the dictionary.